highways, or off-road, you'll do it with grace and grit. Now offering 1.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or a new 2024 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. Now enjoy the view this summer because the road is yours in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or new 2024 Kia Sportage with $2,165 per month per 1,000 financed in 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 7/8/24.
Your safety and proper care of your boat in an emergency is crucial. When it comes to on-water assistance, response time is everything. And since 1996, in the Bay or on the Gulf, it's SeaTow. SeaTow's Coast Guard licensed captains are on the scene in an average of 1 hour or less. SeaTow gets members home or back to boating faster. Become a member today at SeaTow.com or call 850-234-2323.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Then here's a great idea. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Yes, one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program and we'll come and remove your car for free. Fast, free towing, and 24-hour response. You can donate most cars, trucks, or SUVs in most conditions. The proceeds raised goes to help active military, veterans, and their families, and you get a tax deduction. All you need to do is make this free call. Get rid of that old car and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now and book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Donation Program now. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Operators are standing by. Here's the number.
800-932-1176. 800-932-1176. 800-932-1176. That's 800-932-1176.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now, we're taking...
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got to bat.
The Inside Drive. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And good Tuesday morning. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 in Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe along the beautiful Forgotten Coast. You can watch, listen, comment, share, all that good stuff on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Just search up, as the kids say, ESPN Northwest Florida. You can also download our free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. Just search 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. You can also go to ESPNPC.com, check out all that good stuff. And of course, follow our TikTok page specifically here for the Inside Drive, inside.drive. Imagine that. That's all you got to do to search it up. Of course, we also know Jay is going to be a little in and out this week. He's got his first junior camp of the summer going up. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it is the younger group this morning. So he's out there, I'm sure, sweating, chasing them around, hopefully having a lot of fun. I'm sure they are. Yeah, exactly. But he's supposedly going to be here at noon today, just in time for the afternoon delight debrief. David Hayes, how are you doing today?
Wonderful, man. Wonderful. It's a beautiful day to talk some sports, eh?
Hey, indeed. We got
Getting ready for the Stanley Cup Finals,
No, it's coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about that, just you and me in the 1140 segment, as this is there's some history being made with this Stanley Cup. But also, don't forget, we've already done three contests. We've got 3 entrants into the Atlanta Braves 7-year send-off right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Our 7-year anniversary is coming up on June 17th. We've been the home for your Atlanta Braves here in the Florida Panhandle, so it's time to return the favor. Yesterday we started it, but every day, Monday through Friday, between now and June 14th, you listen live, 7:40 on the Coach James Hale Show, 12:40 right here on the Inside Drive, and then, of course, 5:40 on the Afternoon Underdogs. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 10, you will automatically be entered to, or you automatically win a great qualifying prize. A lot of cool stuff from Buffalo Rock and Swampy Jacks and all sorts of different stuff. So you'll automatically win one of those, but you'll be entered in to win the grand prize drawing in an all-inclusive trip to experience the Atlanta Braves play the Toronto Blue Jays on Saturday, September 7th. It's going to include hotels, spending cash, food and beverage at the game, amazing seats at the Xfinity Club. And the cool thing about it is you can qualify as many times as you like. A lot of our contests you can only enter once, but not this one. So if you really, really want to win those tickets, all you got to do is be caller number 10 at those 3 times a day. We appreciate PCB Hobby, Fairfield Inn, Hampton Inn, and Home 2 Suites for sponsoring the 7-year send-off right here from ESPN Northwest Florida. As I mentioned, it runs between now and June 14th. That's going to be a fun one there, D. Hayes, for somebody to go up there and have a wonderful time up there at Truist Park. Ironically, in the Xfinity suite, where Xfinity and Bally TV has been kind of battling back and forth, trying to figure out if they can pay enough to have it streamed still.
That's the only place you can go watch the game on Xfinity is live at the ball club.
There you go.
Or at the ballpark.
Might as well enjoy it. That's for sure. You had a poll question, nice and simple one.
Yeah, you would have go.
Hey, let's do it.
All right.
There's a lot of talk right now with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and all the WNBA players. Like, you know what? Caitlin Clark's brought eyes at the game. Well, you know what? We're here too. We're playing, and so there's a lot of it, and it's exciting. I mean, more people are talking about the WNBA now than ever. But a nice and simple poll question, David, and tell our listeners what that poll question is going to be.
Yeah, I think what kind of spurred this a little bit more for me was watching some Barstool Sports last night, and Dave Portnoy and Big Cat were kind of talking about it. Big Cat's he's a Chicago guy, so he's a Chicago Sky fan, and Dave Portnoy was actually one of the first people to call Angel Reese classless. So I'm kind of more, I wouldn't say like Angel Reese. I'm a guy that likes to go against the trend, and right now the big trend is Caitlin Clark. So I kind of go I don't want to see her fail. I want to see the WNBA
succeed as a whole,
off of this. But I think that there's some other really good rookies in this class, and it's just interesting to see how it is and see how people talk about it and how they feel about it. If Caitlin Clark has a better game than Angel Reese, but the numbers are actually, let's not even say a better game, the numbers are pretty close, then it's, look at what Caitlin Clark did. Look at, so it's just Caitlin Clark or the field. Yeah. Caitlin Clark or the field.
There you go. Be interesting to see how that poll question shakes out as, now Caitlin Clark versus the field is certainly an interesting one. And again, I think it's all about just more eyes on the WNBA. You know, they're selling tickets, they're making stuff happen. We've been talking about it really pretty much since the college basketball season, and you know that's certainly a good poll question there for sure. So I appreciate you bringing that one in. Had some we kind of knew it was going to happen. There was some talks of it coming out, and then earlier this morning at about 9:00 our time, the Major League Baseball officially announced the following suspensions for unrelated violations of the MLB's sports betting policy. Several of them were just 1 year, but I'll get to the one that's permanently. But A's right-handed pitcher Michael Kelly has been suspended for 1 year. Padres left-handed pitcher Jay Groom has been suspended for 1 year. Phillies infielder Jose Rodriguez has been suspended for 1 year. Diamondbacks left-handed pitcher Andrew Saalfrank has been suspended for 1 year. I'm kind of a little green when it comes to baseball. Are these guys that, you know, are playing week in and week out on these baseball teams?
I believe that. Don't quote me on this.
You know more than I do.
Looked into it a little bit yesterday. I believe they're all minor leaguers.
Oh, okay.
I believe that there are minor leaguers, but don't quote me on that. I'll find out here in a few short seconds.
Yeah, no worries. And then, of course, Padres, the big news, Padres infielder/outfielder Tucupita Marcano, if I pronounced that correctly, has been permanently banned from Major League Baseball.
Yeah, he's, we got to start a new chant now. Put Tuca in the Hall of Fame. No, he didn't have long enough of a career.
Or do what Pete Rose did on the field.
Yeah, no doubt. Actually, it was weird when I saw this because I had a franchise, I believe, with the Pirates a few years ago, like probably 3 MLB The Shows ago, and he was on the roster. So when I take over teams that like aren't the Braves, I just kind of get rid of all of the big contracts and just promote the youth up there. You know, if they got like an A or B potential, I move them up. So this was a guy that I played with a lot, actually.
Oh, that's
and
ironic.
so when I see the number, or when I see his name come across, I'm like, oh man, that stinks that, he's gone. But it is what it is. You bet on the game, and especially you bet on games that maybe you're not able to affect because he wasn't on the field for them because he tore his ACL.
Yeah,
so he hasn't played since last year.
Yeah, well, he need to make some money somehow.
There you go. So yeah, it was weird to see this go down like that, but hey, we're seeing it across sports right now, right?
Seeing it all over the place.
A baseball thing, a basketball thing. This is
hell. It was a college baseball thing too.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
across all sports. Like you said.
Over there with Bama. Yeah, you had a few situations in collegiate baseball. So good on Major League Baseball for finding it out and getting it out of the way. It's odd that the guys who are getting bammed up right now, you go to Jonte Porter in the NBA, like guys who have really no big net, you know what I mean? But then you also have the Mizuhara Shohei situation and how that all played out. So the best piece of advice I can give you guys is don't speak English, get an interpreter, have a scapegoat, have a plan. Have a plan B for when you get caught, because you're going to get caught.
Absolutely. In this day and age, and that whole interpreter and Otani thing, it ended so quickly.
That's what makes me even more.
Every time there's a suspicion of something, whether it's politics, sports, whatever it may be, a lot of that time it happens to come true.
If I was Pete Rose, I'd get a private investigator for that whole thing.
Yeah.
Because if you get obviously, I don't think Pete Rose wants to damage the game of baseball or be vindictive in that way. But if you get a guy, if you could prove the fact that MLB is covering up for a guy like Shohei Ohtani and doing blackballing Pete Rose the way that they did, which there's other things involved with the Pete Rose situation that, just off the field kind of stuff. So I don't know, but if I was Pete Rose, maybe think about that, get you a private investigator, see how this whole, because you're right, man, the way that it happened just so fast.
It's just boom, it come out, he was involved, he wasn't involved, it was, his bank account, and then boom, how they found him not guilty of anything. This guy, goes to jail, takes the fall, all that stuff.
I mean, quick, fast, and in a hurry type investigation, which those normally don't tend to be thorough, but who am I?
Yeah, we're just
here. Who thinks about it?
That's right. We're just sitting here talking on the radio. Do you think they'll ever change? And I know, like the NFL, you can bet. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is right. You can bet on other sports as long as you're not at the team facility.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the same way with baseball.
Okay.
You can bet on other sports.
Gotcha.
You just can't bet on baseball.
Yeah.
You can't bet on, especially that's why
Can't
the
bet
other
on
guys
your
got 1
sport.
year. That's why the other guys got 1 year bans, is because they were betting on the game, but they weren't betting on their team.
Gotcha.
Whereas with Marcano, I believe he was betting on his team, and so that's why he got the lifetime ban.
Gotcha.
And it would be interesting to see where they bets for or against the team. It would be interesting to see all of these bets and just kind of see, because like with Jonte Porter, we were privy to that knowledge, and the prop bets essentially is what it was. And they were prop bets on himself.
Yeah.
You can.
And he went out and told people, said, hey, I'm probably coming out here in the game at some point, and I'm sick or hurt, and, bet the under.
A totally different thing if it's like bet the over. Like, I'm scoring 5 points tonight.
Yeah, because that's not guaranteed.
Exactly.
But an under, when you're going to come out and not play, that's a whole different story.
I feel a fever coming on here.
That's right. And I feel so good. Do you think they'll ever change it where you can bet on your own sport as long as it's not a game you're participating in? It's a slippery slope because you know a lot of other information, talking to other MLBers and all that kind of stuff.
I just don't think it's a good look.
Yeah.
I just don't think that you should bet on the sport that you're involved in. Like you said, insider information. Like you could know, say you're friends with the pitcher on the other team.
Yeah.
Let's say it's Clayton Kershaw is going to go, and Clayton tells you, I'm probably actually going to get scratched from the start today. I just haven't been feeling well. And so, you change your bet up or whatever. Yeah. I think it's a slippery slope. I wouldn't be mad if, again, I know this is kind of, it's a strong stance, but maybe athletes shouldn't be allowed to gamble
at all.
Until you're retired. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just because it is that
it's a
slippery
blanket
slope.
Yeah.
Or but then how do you tell an NBA player, you can't bet on the WNBA? Like, what's the effect there? You know what I mean? And why couldn't you be able to bet on the NFL? But it's just that slippery slope of what starts to happen. I mean, the same way with MJ, why did he go play baseball? Well, it was because of the people who he was seen hanging out with.
Yep.
And being in cahoots with those people was not a good look for the NBA.
Yeah.
And so with that, something had to be done. So you take a little hiatus from the game and kind of sweep that under the rug in a different way than having an interpreter as your fall guy. So, I don't know, man. It's tough to say. I'm not a huge better or gambler, but I find enjoyment in the sweat, especially, for some games that I've gotten even away from even hedging bets because that's not fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
if you start hedging bets, now you're doing it, as a professional gambler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's one of those things where, throw some down on a fight or so that. And it's fun. I got to get away from the parlays too, because just $1, then $40 later, but it is one of those things that it's fun, but for those pro athletes, I say as long as it's not in your sport, you're good to go.
Yeah, which is the rules. No. Yeah. I don't know. It's just betting, is so much more prevalent. Even 20 years ago, you could only place sports bets either at a sports book in a state where it was legal.
Which wasn't very many.
No, I think 20 years ago, I'm just off the top of my head, Nevada, New Jersey. There was probably a couple other ones too as well. California, I know not for sure.
Maybe Mississippi?
Yeah, Mississippi would have been one for sure. Alabama, no. I'm just thinking of where casinos are. In Florida, it was always kind of the whole Indian reservation thing. But now, there's...
You can bet on dogs, but you can't bet on sports.
Yep, exactly. Horses and dogs are different than sports, apparently. But yeah, and of course, if you had your, illegal guys, you could obviously place bets. But that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down.
Or overseas.
Yeah, or overseas, which, you just got to find an interpreter for that one. But it's
there
just...
you go.
Yeah.
You got your built-in fall guy, brother.
Yep, absolutely. Just make sure you don't speak English. But yeah, it's just so easy to bet nowadays because I think there's probably 20 or so states that now have legal online, through DraftKings or FanDuel or BetMGM. There's
almost seemed like a low number, but yeah, you're probably right.
There's probably, and I could look that up too, but there's so much more access to sports betting, so it's so much easier for a professional athlete who has all this disposable income to do that kind of stuff. So it's just the temptations are there, and no one ever thinks they're going to get caught until they get caught. And it's just one of those things that's it's a tricky but a slippery slope.
Well, and I think with some of these too, this isn't just this just happened.
Yeah.
These are 2023.
It's coming out.
Exactly. Yep. And so that's kind of the tough thing is they haven't started. Well, Pete Rose should be, if you're in the game of baseball, Pete Rose should be enough said for why you shouldn't gamble on the sport
look what
baseball.
Happened to him. Yeah,
exactly. The hit king of baseball is not in the Hall of Fame. He really, doesn't have any sort of, he has a lot of engagements, but they're not MLB related.
Yeah.
Imagine, what we're talking about with Pete Rose. You're going to see him on, he would absolutely be more closely affiliated with some of these broadcasters.
He'd be doing all sorts of stuff with Major League Baseball. If you're the hit,
38 states, by the way.
38 now. Betting, Wow, so we're almost there.
12 away, baby.
12 more to go. And that's because the states realize how much revenue you can generate from this kind of stuff.
Same way as marijuana, right?
Absolutely.
Once they figure out a way that, look, we can regulate it and make a little bit more money off of it. It wasn't as bad as what we thought it was. Shut up.
Yep. Yep,
But
they
who
took it off the
cares?
DARE list.
Common
It's not even a gateway
Yeah,
drug anymore.
exactly.
So no, it's just it takes time to catch. I don't know. Anyway, it's a wild thing. We talk about sports betting quite a bit here on the Inside Drive. So wanted to talk about that breaking news that came out this morning. Kind of knew it was coming. They've been reporting on it, and here we are now with another player banned from Major League Baseball for life.
Of those 38, though, only 29 have online sports betting.
Okay, so the other 9, it's in-person casino betting. Yeah, cool. I mean, and it's it's a great way to raise a lot more revenue. That's for sure. Who knows, since Hard Rock's been legal, how much that has generated, because they got to pay their sales tax on that for the money they're making from all the bettors. So it's just it can be a positive thing when done correctly. But
I don't know about that. I think it's positive for the government.
Yeah.
That's where it's I don't really think, in all reality, I think it's a fun thing. But no, it's just as bad. Like calling it what it is.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah, the actual gambling itself.
No, it's not, because people get themselves in ruts. It's the same way with alcohol and all of these other things. It's a scapegoat, if you will. It's a distraction from reality that you can end up finding yourself in a hole that you don't want to be in.
Yeah.
However, today, in today's day and age, it's a little bit safer than what it might have been back in the day, where you lose a finger at a time.
Well,
you
Guido
lose a
comes
foot.
and finds you.
Exactly.
And
But outside of that, no, I don't think that it's a good thing. I just think that we as a society have kind of gotten off of, it is what it is. If the money's there, then we can look past it. You go to some of these states where you've got daggum needles and stuff in vending machines.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay because they have a sickness. You know this better than anyone else in this building right now, right? You do not bring sickness upon yourself. Myself, right? With alcohol and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That is something that I started. I didn't just one day,
and a lot of
I've got an
people.
alcohol problem.
No,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? So same way with gambling. So it's fun and all like that, but no, to say it's a good thing, no, our moral compass is just jaded.
Yeah, and I was more saying you can use the revenue from it to do good things.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're self-controlled and you're not strong-willed, I mean, it can be a very, very quick, slippery slope. I know we got Doc A coming up here in the next segment. I want to mention one thing real quick. We talk a lot about documentaries here, and some cool ones, and I'm sure you saw that potentially coming soon here, a new Netflix series on SEC football. I think that would be a fun one. They haven't come up with a name yet. They're closing in on a deal for a series on the upcoming SEC football season, similar to F1's Drive to Survive.
Oh yeah, I've seen this. I'm kind of excited to.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, we've seen all these professional sports, and now we might be able to get a look into the inside. And college football is just so wild with so many changes. I think it's great timing from Netflix to be jumping into a year, even with the SEC and the realignment and NIL and just all the crazy stuff going on now. So I think it's going to be a cool one to watch. And they're trying to see, they asked, what should it be called? And it just should be SEC football. It just means more, right? Isn't that their tagline anyway?
Just means more, yeah. But you got to come with something catchy, though.
Yeah.
Not that's not catchy. That is what it is. It's not a bad one, but they got to, because Drive to Survive, Full Swing. Full Swing's kind of basic, but you know what it's about. So maybe it could just be, it just means more.
Yeah, it just means more. Hey, who knows?
Yeah.
There's a couple other ones that second to none, with SEC being in capital letters.
Oh, not a bad one.
Another one says, we want Bama.
I like that. I say we just go with that.
Yeah, there you go.
You
there
know
you
what?
go. You know what the entire thing's about. It's just about SEC football, but it all goes through Bama,
Hey,
right?
but soon enough here, that thing's going to be we want UGA.
No.
Because that's,
I think that's where we are right now.
I think, especially with Saban not being there, if Georgia wins this year, I think that's where everyone heads to. Especially, let's say Bama goes 9-3, even 10-2, but no appearance in the SEC championship. Which at 10-2, you're more than likely in the playoffs. So if Bama stays in the playoff, I think that it keeps it there. That we want Bama, but Georgia, man, it's about to be their game.
If they and this is going to be probably arguably I know we got to go, but arguably the toughest road that they'll find because of how everything has changed going into this third year. I mean, and Kalen DeBoer, he could be in the play. I mean, what a time to come in where you're expanding. I didn't really think about that until just now, but you're going to get a little bit more of a pass if you can at least make the playoff because it's 12 teams.
It really, the more that I think about Saban's time to retire, the more I'm like, Man, of course, he was done with it. Really, I think it was a Miss Terry, like, all right, hey, let's settle down here. But yeah, this is working out well for Kalen DeBoer. Now let's see it on the field, though, because I don't know if Jalen Milroe is going to be able to be that guy again this year. But I love his mental fortitude, and I love his work ethic, and I love what he brings to the table. It's just that potential of floor and ceiling. Where is he going to be at?
Yeah, absolutely. And we got to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll be joined by Doc A, Steve Alexander, NBA writer. You guys know all about him. We're going to dive into the NBA Finals coming up, starting, I believe, on Thursday. You're listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Not have to go downtown, not have to go across the bridge and fight with all the traffic. David Adamson Jewelry, Highway 77.
How many hours a show? Hey, I mean, can we get to the point?
You asked him a question.
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to give a recital.
I'm not done yet either.
Weekday morning 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Tuesday. A likelihood of thunderstorms and sunshine this afternoon and evening with a gentle breeze out of the south at 11 miles per hour, and look for the high to be 84. Tonight, there will be mostly clear skies with the temperature reaching 77. Mostly sunny throughout the day with a possibility of thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening tomorrow with a high of 84. This weather is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hi folks, it's Tracy with Tracy's Fine Jewelry and Coin and Bullion Reserves. Did you know that we do more than just sell some of the finest jewelry in town? We can engrave on your wedding band, locket, Yeti cup, or almost anything. Need your watch battery changed? We can do that too. Our expert will even evaluate your coin collection. And of course, we always pay top dollar for your old gold and silver jewelry. See, there's a lot more to Tracy's Fine Jewelry than a lot of pretty sparkly things. Come and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
It's the Dolly Southern Sweets Collection, available now only at Krispy Kreme Donuts. Sink your teeth into the chocolate cream pie, or how about the Southern favorite banana pudding pie? Or the Southern sweet peachy king cobbler. Last but not least, try the Dolly Dazzler. And wash it all down with the peachy king lemonade chiller. All delicious and available only at Krispy Kreme Donuts. In front of HCA Hospital on 23rd Street in Panama City and on the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan.
The battle for a 7th straight division crown is on, and the Braves are on a charge to bring it home to Atlanta.
Swung on a fly ball, deep left center field. That is down for a base hit. Michael Harris taking no prisoners. Braves win into the bottom of the 10th.
Tonight, the Braves hit the road for a 2-game set in Boston as Ronald Acuna and company take on the Red Sox at Fenway.
Coverage starts at 6 right after the afternoon underdogs. Your home for the Braves, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. And now,
Doctor, my eyes.
Doc A joins the Inside Drive. It's just what the doctor orders.
Oh, doctor! Talk to your doctor before use.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. It's Tuesday. It's 11:20 segment. That only means one thing. And what's pretty cool, I had a Facebook memory this past week. We've been doing this with Doc A for over a year. Doc A, how are you on this couple days, the eve of the NBA Finals? You there?
Yes.
There you are. There you are. There you are. Well, I was just mentioning that, we've been doing this with you for over a year now, so I appreciate you jumping on with us on the Inside Drive, telling us some awesome, funny stories, but also, of course, giving us some great insight here on the NBA. We got the finals coming up. You kind of got this right, so to speak. You know, this beginning of the season, you were talking about the Celtics being the kind of the front runner to get to the NBA Finals, potentially win the finals. Here they are in the finals after winning their series 4-0. And then your boy, Luka Doncic, and the Dallas Mavs have won their series 4-1, and previewing here the NBA Finals coming up. Were you surprised that, the Boston Celtics swept and then the Mavs won 4-1 in that one?
No, not really. I thought Minnesota might give Dallas a better fight than they did, but man, I tell you what, Luka thing is blowing up, isn't it? I mean, it's everywhere, like everywhere on social media, and the fact I think he's leading the playoffs in every statistical category except for like free throw percentage, field goal percentage, and blocks. I think everything else he owns, he's first in, and it's crazy. And this series has a lot of different elements to it, like the fact Jason Kidd played for the Mavericks when they last won a title in 2011, and the fact that Kyrie Irving was with the Celtics and left the Celtics on bad terms.
Yeah.
And now plays for the Mavericks. And, you know, when he goes into Boston's house, they're going to be all over him. But I feel like Luka is sort of like this bad hombre that's like, oh, yeah, well, anything you do to him, you're doing to all of us. And now you will pay. And so that's interesting.
It's almost like a movie script kind of thing.
It sort of is. And you know, like, Luka is just like this cold-blooded, like, he's scary, man. He's like an assassin. He just has this killer instinct, and I think everything Boston does to try to get under his skin is only going to give him more fuel and make him angrier and make him more apt to go out and kick your you-know-what. So it's pretty wild. It seems like a lot of people are taking the Mavericks plus 180, plus 175 to win the series just because of the odds and because Luka's the best player on the planet. And usually in the NBA, if you have the best player, a la Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or Shaquille O'Neal, your team tends to win a lot. So a lot of people are putting money on Luka and the Mavericks to win.
Yeah. Do you think that line will move even closer as we get closer to Thursday with a lot of people betting the Mavs to win?
I do. I think it's going to keep dropping. I think it'll be down to like 125 by Thursday, maybe. I could be wrong, but I'm not a betting expert. But it feels like a lot of people are going all in on Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, kind of one of those things, like, you could bet the Celtics. I think I was looking up this morning, they're minus 220. I mean, and that just doesn't really have a whole lot of value, but with the Mavs and the opportunity they have, Luka's first finals, and I don't know if you saw the video. Where is he from again, David? Slovenia. If you saw that video of him playing I don't even know what kind of game it was. Did you ever end up seeing that, David? It was pretty wild, but he's playing it's somewhere in Slovenia, home, and like the stadium is packed and they're like jumping up and down like in unison like soccer hooligans, and they were saying that's why like nothing phases Luka, because what he came from as far as playing basketball over there and then coming over to the NBA is nothing. But I don't know.
If you read his Wikipedia page, like before he got to the NBA, it is incredibly packed with MVPs and championships, and they're not like little kid championships. They're like legit European championships and legit MVPs. And he was like 16, 17 years old. So he has not been on this stage before, but he's been through a lot more stuff than almost any other young player in the NBA has been in. And he really, for being a finals rookie, he's probably coming into the finals as a finals rookie with more experience than any player in history.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible stuff there. I was going to ask you about Kyrie's return to Boston. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but if you're Luka and Kyrie, I mean, you're those guys that seem to thrive off of the, hey, you can talk as much trash to me as you want, and that's only going to motivate me more. Do you think, this is kind of silly, but do you think Boston would kind of dial it back a little bit just because of that, or you think they're just going to give them hell, as soon as they walk in every time they touch the ball? I mean, I think it's just going to be a wild first game.
Yeah, the Boston fans are gonna. They're not going to hold back. They're going all in on Kyrie. Every time he touches the ball, they're going to boo. Hell, they may boo every time Luka touches it too. I don't know. just like when Porzingis goes to Dallas, every time he touches the ball, they're going to boo there because that's another angle to this series. And I'm shifting gears here.
No, it was on my questions for you.
But Porzingis and Luka did not enjoy playing together. I don't think Luka liked the fact that Porzingis just hung around out by the three-point line all day and wasn't getting rebounds. There was no love lost by Porzingis leaving there, and there is some beef. So, and now that's come out in the public, just really, I think Dallas people have known for a long time, but it just came out the last couple of days.
Yeah.
I think their crowd's going to be going crazy every time Porzingis touches the ball. And I can see this. It feels personal. Like this series,
yeah, it's a great way to put it.
Has a lot of stuff, and I think the Boston fans and the Mavericks fans, you put them in a room together, and they're just going to go after each other, and everybody's mad at each other, and it should just be a fascinating, fun matchup all the way around.
Do you think it's, as far as a matchup is concerned, do you think this is probably one of the, as far as like a viewership and, if you're not a big NBA person and, these two teams going against each other, do you think this is fantastic for the NBA as far as these two teams because of all these little storylines you're talking about?
It should be. I'm not sure. It's hard for me to say because I'm so vested in Dallas. I'm such a homer that everything's probably blurry to me. But I would think that the NBA, everybody's kind of talking about Luka.
Yep.
And whether you know what's going on or not, it's like, oh man, this Luka guy is just tearing up the league. And so and everybody knows who the Boston Celtics are.
Of course.
So it should be good for the league, although I think if you ask the league, they'll be like, well, LeBron is not there, so no, it's not good. But, these ratings should be pretty high, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. You mentioned Porzingis. He's going to be ready for the series from what I'm understanding. Does he make a difference? Does he matter in this series for the success of the Celtics?
He does, but I think it comes down to Horford and Porzingis are going to be your centers for Dallas. Horford's 38 years old. Porzingis hasn't played since April.
Yeah.
Dallas' big men are a rookie, Derek Lively, who never leaves the rim and never misses a shot. He's shooting like 100%, 90% to the playoffs or something ridiculous because he only dunks and takes Luka lobs and rebounds. And then Daniel Gafford, who's a great shot blocker and also a good offense. He's a good offensive player. So the center matchups are going to be key in this thing. But I think it really comes down to, I think Boston's game plan is going to be, all right, Luka's going to do what he's going to do, but let's shut down Kyrie Irving and let's put Drew Holiday and Derek White on Kyrie and make somebody else beat us. And that somebody else could end up being those centers. And if they do shut Kyrie down, it's going to be tough for Dallas to win the series because they just don't have anybody else with the offensive capabilities that Kyrie has outside of Luka. So if Kyrie's shut down, it's going to hurt Dallas. But also, I think Dallas has a big advantage in the center position as long as Boston's big men aren't standing out there bombing threes all day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if you are not a big NBA fan or really, don't watch a whole lot of games, but, you were tuning into the NBA finals because it's the championship, what would you tell some of the more novice NBA fans to take a look at in this series? I know you talked a little bit about it so far, but some of the matchups or some of the big storylines, for the casual fan, what would you tell them to pay attention to in this series?
Well, Kyrie against Boston would be number one. This really comes down to Luka's dominance as the head of the snake in Dallas versus Boston's super well-rounded team. Like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, and Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis any of those 6 guys can score 20 points any given night. Like, they're really well-rounded, and they really play well together. They have great team defense. So you've got this really well-oiled Boston machine where everybody plays a big role on both ends of the floor versus this Dallas team that's sort of Luka and then his vice president, Kyrie, and then his little guys, his little role players, which is everybody else. So I think that team versus 1 or 2 guys is going to be interesting to watch.
Gotcha. Yeah, kind of. You don't have a team versus a team. You kind of got a team versus a couple gentlemen, and then their role guys that kind of are around them. And
I don't want to say that Dallas does not play as a team, because they totally do, but they're more of like a team full of role players, whereas Boston's kind of a team full of stars.
Yeah, almost kind of like Shaq and Kobe a little bit to a certain degree when they were in their heyday with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, obviously, we won't talk to you again until next Tuesday. We got a couple games. They spread out the finals pretty good, but the first game coming up this Thursday, and the next game will be on Sunday, and then 3 games between the first and the second and the third, and then you got 2 games, and you go to 3, and then 3. So there's only one time you have just 2, a day off, and then the next game. But looking at this first game coming up in Boston, currently Dallas is Boston's -6.5, and they're -250 on the money line. If you were to tell some people on the over-under is 214.5, we always ask for some guidance as we get to the end of your segment on what this first game looks like. Is, Boston -6.5 or Dallas, plus 205. There's some value there for sure, especially, if Luka and Kyrie can make some stuff happen. What are some recommendations you would say for some people wanting to get some action, like our good friend Jay, who's at a junior camp this morning trying to make some money?
Well, I might lay off the first game and see how that goes, because we really don't know.
Yeah.
These teams haven't played in a while. They've played twice in the regular season. I really don't think you can take away anything from that. Kyrie was out for one of those games. I think it was before the trade to get PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford in Dallas. So I don't know if we can learn from the past. I'm more interested in maybe some series bets before we see game 1, and then after game 1 I might dive in. What I really like is Kyrie Irving at plus 1,600 to win MVP. Obviously, Luka is probably going to win MVP. If Dallas wins, Jason Tatum is probably going to win MVP. If Boston wins, but all those odds are pretty weak. But that plus 1,600 for Kyrie Irving to win MVP, if Boston chooses to try to shut down Luka and make him go to his teammates, then Kyrie Irving could easily win MVP, especially with the extra motivation he has going against Boston. So that's one bet I really like. If I did have to pick game 1, I'm taking Dallas and the points, just because I think Dallas is going to win the series.
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, shoot, $10 plus 1,600, might as well. You never know. I mean, that's probably the bet. I was just looking at the odds while you're talking. That's probably the best value as far as MVP odds are concerned. I might take you up on that one as well. But Doc, we have come to the end of our segment. Enjoy the finals. I know you're really, 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 really going to have a great time with this one, and we look forward to talking to you next Tuesday. With, I think at that time there'll be 2 games under our belt, and we can update where we are in the series. We appreciate your time as always.
Miss you, Jay.
We'll let him know. That was Doc A. He's in the NBA Fantasy Sports Writers Hall of Fame. He joins us every Tuesday. Always a pleasure. And looking forward to seeing how he feels about the series next Tuesday. Only 2 games in. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Jay should be coming back here in about 20 minutes or so. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The Afternoon Underdogs.
I hate to say it, but Oklahoma, people hate dynasties. You win too much and people get sick of it. They're going for their 4th straight national title. If you win 4 straight titles, people aren't going to like you that much anymore.
4 to 6 weekdays. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Are you feeling tired, weak, or maybe you feel old and cranky? If so, I have the answer. It's Max Fit Sports Nutrition with 2 locations, 23rd Street in the Coronado Plaza and in Pier Park North on Back Beach Road. Max Fit Sports Nutrition has nutritional products and professional dietary plans to get you moving in the right direction. So get off that couch and get to Max Fit Sports Nutrition now. Max Fit Sports Nutrition, where you can try it before you buy it.
If you spend any time at all in your yard, you're going to encounter fire ants.
We know they can ruin a party. That's why we're this area's experts at fire ant elimination.
As your certified top choice professional, we will rid your yard of these unwanted invaders. Brock Pest is so sure they will get rid of fire ants that they offer a 1-year guarantee.
Enjoy your yard fire ant free. We guarantee it. Give us a call for your free consultation.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting yours since 1968.
Hey there, business owners. Do you feel lost in a sea of numbers, struggling to navigate your day-to-day accounting? At Lighthouse CPAs, they specialize in guiding businesses to make more money and keep more of what you make. From bookkeeping to tax planning, they've got you covered. Plus, with their user-friendly software, managing your finances has never been easier. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Call Lighthouse CPAs 850-785-5254.
And now the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
We're going to have a talk. Tell me what you know.
Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
It's a frantic noise.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Just vibing on this Tuesday morning here on the Inside Drive. You're listening to us on 104.3 in Panama City and Panama City Beach and the surrounding areas. Don't forget all those beautiful places right here in the Florida Panhandle. If you're over there in Port St. Joe along the Forgotten Coast, we appreciate you tuning in on 101.9. That was some good stuff there with Doc A. I know he's looking forward to the NBA Finals, no doubt about it. And after talking to him, I think I'm a little fired up looking forward to the NBA Finals as well. Some storylines there.
Oh, yeah, good storylines. And, two of the best teams right now in the NBA. Obviously, Boston has been here for a few years now. The talk of Luka has been growing exponentially year by year, and then Kyrie Irving, kind of just the maturation of him. This is going to be a good series, especially with him being in Boston. When they're in Boston, I think it's epic. Some of the best are going to be those inbound passes when Kyrie's inbounding the ball from the side of the floor. I think those are going to be some of the best camera angles to be checking out. I would love to have all of courtside mic'd up.
Absolutely. I mean, and just the history of NBA Finals I know it's not the original Boston Garden, but still the TD Garden up there in Boston. I mean, you think NBA, you think the Lakers and the Celtics, and, it's here we are. It's the Mavs and the Celtics, but it's going to be some fun stuff.
And Bostonians are still Bostonians.
No doubt about it. And they're pretty spoiled, to be honest. If you look at how many championships across all their teams in the last 25 years, there's been quite a bit.
Yep.
No doubt about it.
They strive for excellence up there in New England.
They do. Some may say they piss excellence. Who knows?
No.
Let's not get carried away.
No.
All right.
Well, I don't know. Boston Town's a part of that heritage up there, so we'll say that.
Marty from Boston.
And Marty, there you go. So we'll allow it.
Yeah, we'll allow it today. And speaking of championships, the NHL Stanley Cup Finals is set to get underway. The schedule is ready to go, and there's some history being made with this Stanley Cup Finals. And I'm sure if Jay was here, I'd ask him, do you know what the history is with the Stanley Cup Finals? So I'm going to ask you, do you know what the history that is being made for the first time in Stanley Cup history? Or there's a record for something in this first time in Maybe length between
like Edmonton and Florida.
And that's why you host your own radio show.
Is that really
show.
what
Absolutely.
it is? I have no idea.
A lot of people were wondering why there's so much time, and the NBA always puts a lot of time in between games in the finals. They're trying to make the monies, but in the NHL it's usually every other day, but this one's a little more spread out. The first game gets started this Saturday, and then you've got one game in between because it's in the same location, and then you have the next game. It goes from the 10th to the 13th, and then you have a 2-spot, but then it goes from the 15th and the 18th because they are traveling so far. If you're wondering why the schedule is so spread out, the reason is because the teams will be traveling over 2,540 miles from Edmonton to Sunrise, Florida. It's the longest distance between Stanley Cup final opponents in history.
There we go.
That's a long way.
It is a long way. And you wonder, these guys are so beat up. If you've ever followed a team throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs,
they need to do a Netflix docuseries on playoff hockey.
Oh, dude, just like the SCF, not even the finals.
No,
the whole entire, because the injury report that comes out after they win the cup or after they lose the cup is, you got guys playing with like broken shins and whatnot. It's like, how in the heck were they able to continue on? They're just absolute warriors. So, yeah, dude, man, this is going to be a great series.
Both finals, NBA, NHL, I'm stoked for.
And I don't know which one I'm more excited about, because you have, it's almost, if you look at it this way, Edmonton is kind of like the Boston in this situation, even though I would say Florida is the betting favorite.
Yeah.
Right? But Edmonton has been hanging around in these Stanley Cup playoffs, can't really get past the second round. Here they are in the finals, and now they get to the championship. Now they're in the Stanley Cup final. Will they be able to get it done? They've got all of that star power over there, whereas with Dallas, they're kind of that. Luka's their star and driving them. With Florida, they've got Kachuk. They've got some names over there, but they're just so daggum physical, and that is what's going to be interesting in the Stanley Cup Finals. Is the finesse of the Western Conference representative and the Edmonton Oilers, is their finesse going to be enough to overcome the physicality? And we see this from game one that the Florida Panthers played against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Tampa Bay Lightning did not have a shot. They had like 3 shots in the entire first period. They do that to every single team.
Yeah, they did it to the Rangers. The Rangers were the President's Cup trophy winner. They would dominate teams. They were an offensive powerhouse, and the Panthers just shut them down. And that's why, hockey's just so different than basketball, because yes, you have 6 players technically, including your goalie, on the ice at one time. And yes, one player can make a huge difference, but it's 45 seconds at a time. You're running lines. You've been playing since early October, and here you are with a chance to go home with the largest trophy in sports. And I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Stanley Cup Finals is one of my faves, that is for sure. And we talked about betting earlier, and our boy, you were talking about Barstool Sports and Dave Portnoy. He's got an opportunity. He's won some big bets. He won the bet on the Chiefs. I think
no Mattress Mac now.
He's no Mattress Mac, but he's working on getting there. That's for sure. So he had bet on the Edmonton Oilers to win the Stanley Cup back on April 19th. At the time, plus 700, wagered $150,000 to win $1.2 million. But another one that's an interesting one, as he has in here, this was back on April 20th. He bet Scotty Scheffler to win the RBC Heritage. And of course, what did Scotty Scheffler do? He won the RBC Heritage, and he parlayed that with the Boston Celtics winning the NBA Finals. He put $100,000 on that one to win $1.5925 million.
$100,000 for someone to win a golf tournament is wild, let alone parlaying that with your Boston Celtics winning the championship.
Well, I think he did that because Scotty Scheffler was only plus 550 to win that tournament. So he parlayed. Yeah, the Celtics were plus 145, so that parlay made it plus 1492. So he obviously has some invested stake there. Obviously, he's from Boston as well, huge Boston sports guy. But that'll make
one bet. Everybody knows the rules.
That's it. That's it. He went from reviewing pizzas to building one of the biggest sports brands out there. So kudos to to him on that one. I don't know if you saw this story. You probably did, because I'm not talking to Jay currently, but we had mentioned it the other day. I just never got to it on the air. But Olympic gold medal wrestler Gable Stevenson signed with the Bills and is looking to be playing, I believe, defensive line or defensive end.
Yeah, we talked about this on the truck on the way back from QB Vision. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I mean, he's obviously an unbelievable wrestler, huge guy. He's 6'1", 275, obviously has explosive speed and a lot of leverage power because he is a wrestler, and that's what you want on the defensive line. It's crazy to see that you have, and there's been other players too, and I have the list of 10 guys that did not play college football that went on to play in the NFL, and, interesting stuff there. Interesting stuff.
It is interesting. Obviously, it's going to take them a little time to get the techniques down and everything, but I think you can ask any college football coach, any high school football coach, any professional football coach, that they will take a wrestler 10 times out of 10 times because of the discipline that they carry and the way that they hold themselves.
The work ethic.
The work ethic. So at the end of the day, man, I think that this is huge. I think that this is huge for the sport of wrestling. You're going to have guys in wrestling who now maybe, well, what am I going to do after my collegiate career is done?
Yeah.
Like if I can't make it to the WWE, which obviously isn't like the goal of wrestling.
One, he had signed with the WNBA.
Was he with the WWE?
He signed with the WWE in 2021 before being released by the Pro Wrestling Company earlier this past month.
There you go. So now you get to go from that dream to that dream. Well, but so here's the other thing, right? And you see guys like Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, even. He played at Georgia Tech, then he played in the NFL for a little bit. And then, now look at his run in the WWE. So, maybe this could be the stepping stone that catapults him back into that realm of things. Or if he wanted to get into MMA, it's like one of these little stepping stones could be huge. But I think that is huge for Jay Henley and the Buffalo Bills, man. Let's see, could he be that Aaron Donald type interior defensive lineman where he takes the pressure off of the rest of your defensive front there? So
absolutely,
could be great.
Absolutely. Stevenson won the gold medal in freestyle wrestling at the Tokyo Summer Olympics. He then returned to the University of Minnesota, was named Big Ten Athlete of the Year. During his college career, Stevenson won 2 national championships and 3 Big Ten championships, and was a 2-time Dan Hodge Trophy winner, which is the college wrestling equivalent of the Heisman Trophy. As I mentioned, he signed with the WWE back in 2021 before being released by the Pro Wrestling Company. He joins a small list of players who have never played football, who have now made the jump over there to the NFL. Some of those players, and some of these guys did play high school football, so it's not a complete apples to apples, but the first gentleman on this list is Vince Papale, wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles. If you remember, there was a pretty famous movie made about him called Invincible that starred Mark Wahlberg. He was a part-time bartender when he got his opportunity to try out for the Philadelphia Eagles back in 1976, and he played in the NFL until 1978. At the time, he had played 41 games there in the NFL. Lawrence I forget how to pronounce his name. It's Okuyi, I think. He was defensive end for the San Francisco 49ers. Remember him? It was a very brief stay. He had never played in college, but made it to the San Francisco 49ers for a brief stay. He never saw the field, but did bounce around on some practice squads until 2017 when he was washed out. He'll turn 30 this year. It just shows how tough it is. Now, this name is one of the ones that broke the mold, that's for sure. And you probably remember one of the best tight ends in NFL history. Played for the San Diego Chargers.
Antonio Gates.
Antonio Gates,
basketball player.
Yes, he did not attend college. He only played basketball, and arguably the best NFL player to never play in college. Gates played from 2003 to 2018 as a tight end. He racked up 236 appearances, over 11,000 yards, 116 touchdowns, and 955 receptions.
Does it say where he played college basketball? I'm racking my brain.
Oh, man, it doesn't. But
for some reason, I want to say San Diego State, but that doesn't make sense.
I feel like it was like the Midwest or something like that, but I know you're going to look it up here real quick and figure that one out. A couple other guys that did not play college football. Ray Seals, he was a defensive end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Where did he play college there, Antonio Gates?
Still looking that up.
Okay, I thought you got close, so I thought you had it there. One of the more famous players, Ray Seals.
Kent State.
So yeah, Ohio, Midwest.
Yeah.
There you go. Goes from play. And that just goes to shit. These guys that can play another sport and have never played football and then transition and have a successful 15-year career in the NFL,
a Hall of Fame type career.
That's I believe he's in the Hall?
He's in the LA Chargers Hall of Fame here.
I can't remember if he's been inducted or not. But again, Ray Seals never played football in college, but somehow snuck his way into the NFL. He played for the Bucs from 1989 to 1993 as a defensive end and a nose tackle. He later played for the Pittsburgh Steelers for a couple years, but did not see the field in 1996 and played 14 games for the Carolina Panthers before retiring at age 32. Yet another punter, Saverio Roca. He was a punter, or excuse me, a place kicker for the for the Philadelphia Eagles, but started out with the Washington at the time Redskins. He played a version of football in Australia before migrating to the United States, and you see that one a little more where you have some guys coming over. But there's a few other guys as well that did play high school football but did not play college football, and then got a shot to head over there to the NFL. So some pretty cool stuff. We'll be following that story as we get ready for the NFL season and see how he does. It's just he's going to learn. And I feel, and I don't know, but I feel like being a defensive lineman, obviously you've got to know schemes and stuff like that. But if there was a spot to be dropped into that you could probably have the best chance of being successful, if it's
probably kicker.
Yeah, probably kicker, unless you suck, but you wouldn't get the opportunity if you did. But at least, even being versus an offensive lineman. I mean, offensive lineman, you need to know all the plays, all the blocking scheme, what your assignments are. And defensive line's very similar too. But I mean, the guy that's with his talent, his size and strength, it's going to be interesting to see how he does in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, man. I agree with you, though. I think not saying that it's easy by any stretch.
No, not at all.
Position on that field that's easy.
No.
But when you have brute strength like that, you can get away with things that at other positions, you got to be not saying that you don't got to be cerebral to play the defensive line, but it's a little different if you're playing linebacker and you've got to,
yes.
Are you covering? Are you rushing?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that go into that. So
absolutely. But we got to go ahead and take our top of the hour break. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. When we back, it'll be the afternoon.
For 7 years, ESPN Northwest Florida has been your destination on the Panhandle for the Atlanta Braves.
He just blew the doors off that thing.
But our listeners are the real MVP.
Another dominating performance.
So this year, we're giving away more tickets to Truist Park than ever before. Keep listening to win family 4-packs to experience the Atlanta Braves. From ESPN Northwest Florida, PCB Hobby, Pepsi, Fairfield, Hampton Inn on Thomas, and Home 2 Suites.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Tuesday. A likelihood of thunderstorms and sunshine this afternoon and evening with a gentle breeze out of the south at 11 miles per hour, and look for the high to be 84. Tonight, there will be mostly clear skies with the temperature reaching 77. Mostly sunny throughout the day with a possibility of thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening tomorrow with a high of 84. This weather is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
So you've heard the saying that if you love your job, you'll never have to work? Well, it's true.
I've worked for Brock Lawn and Pest Control for many years. The commitment to the needs of customers
and their commitment to each employee makes Brock a company I'm very proud to be a part of.
Brock's core values are also mine. Give people more than they expect and always honor your promises.
This isn't a job, it's a service to help people live a healthier lifestyle.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting your family.
In the jewelry business, there is no substitute for experience. David Adamson has over 46 years of experience, 32 of those in Lynn Haven. Designing and creating fine jewelry is more than a job for David, it's a joy. If you're looking for a spectacular jewelry design that says you, or perhaps you need your jewelry repaired, look no further than David Adamson Designer Jewelry. All work is done in-house and always to your complete satisfaction. Stop in today at David Adamson Designer Jewelry, 830 Ohio Avenue in Lynn Haven. They're on Facebook and at tcjeweler.com.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn Haven, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The only place to get sports betting coverage on the radio. Is this legal? Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. It's the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sky rockets in flight.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Jay has the amount of time for me to get through the intro here in this segment to get to the show, or I'm shutting the door and we'll see what happens. But anyway, we're live and local here on 104.3 in Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe along the beautiful Forgotten Coast. You can watch, listen, comment, all that good stuff. You can also text us anytime you want, 850-215-6290. But check us out on our socials. Just search ESPN Northwest Florida. If you want to download our free app, which is in both the Google Play and Apple Store, that one you do need to search 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. You can go to ESPNPC.com, or you can go check us out on TikTok, Inside.Drive. Also coming up at 12:40, don't forget, it's 3 times a day. You want to take advantage every time you can. It is the Atlanta Braves 7-year send-off right here from ESPN Northwest Florida. You've made this the destination for the Atlanta Braves here in the Florida Panhandle since we've been going. Our official 7-year anniversary is June 17th, so we're going to give away those tickets that day. But starting yesterday, you listen at 7:40 on the Coach James Hale Show, 12:40 right here on the Inside Drive, 5:40 on David Hayes and the Afternoon Underdogs. You'll hear the cue to call. If you're calling number 10, you automatically win a sweet qualifying prize. You'll be entered into the grand prize drawing to win an all-exclusive trip to experience the Atlanta Braves on play, and they're playing the Toronto. There's a typo on that. There's playing the Toronto Blue Jays Saturday, September 7th. That's going to include your hotel, spending cash, food and beverage at the game, as well as amazing seats there in the Xfinity Club. The cool thing about this promotion is you can enter as many times as you want. That'll be coming up right as we exit out of the 12:40 segment. We appreciate PCB Hobby, Fairfield Inn, Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, and Home 2 Suites for sponsoring the 7-year giveaway. As I mentioned, it's this week and next week. Then we'll give away those tickets on the 17th. Also, don't forget about our beautiful studio sponsor there, right there at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd Street. Some may call it the Mecca of car and boat dealerships. That's Bill Kramer GM and Kramer Marine and Outdoor. They got tons of new vehicles in stock. New car inventory is getting up there again, so lots to choose from. Lots of great dealer incentives going on right now. Express service, full service, tires at cost, everything you could possibly need. Car, truck, SUV, electric vehicle, whatever you're looking for, it's right there at Bill Kramer GM. And of course, right around the corner, you've got Kramer Marine and Outdoor. It is snapper season. It's time to get out on the water. Where do you want to go fishing? Whether you want to go just hang out at Shell Island or tool around and watch the beautiful sunsets here in Panama City Beach, Kramer Marine and Outdoor will get you taken care of. If you need to get your boat back out on the water, they'll come to you and get it fixed up, and they'll even tow it back to the dealership. If you don't, that would be me. I don't know how to drive a trailer worth a dang, so that would certainly be a service I would take advantage of if I have a boat. But they have a Yamaha out. They are a Yamaha outboard full line dealer. They have a Yamaha Master Certified mechanic on staff. They're selling Seabourn, Spider, Sundance, and Skeeter. That was not Jay. That was me. All part of that CRI boat family. And you can check out all that new and used inventory at KramerMarineandOutdoor.com. You can give them a call at 850-851-0453. And of course, you can give Bill Kramer GM a call at 850-250-1403. They will make it easy and take great care of you. No Jay yet, huh?
I'm over here monitoring the camera.
I know, little disappointed, but that's okay because we got the Afternoon Delight debrief segment starting now, and I've got a couple fun ones that actually Beth sent me one earlier in the show. I'm going to pull that one up here in a second, but I'm going to start with this one. This is a fun one. This is from NBC New York, no, I'm just kidding. I was going to go on a tangent. Giant Paris-shooting Joro spiders expected to arrive in New York and New Jersey this summer. If that's not irony, I don't know what is. Again, this is from NBC New York. Joro spiders have already spread across several states, and the species range is expected to keep expanding to new ones, including the Northeast. Arachnophobes look away. There's a giant invasive spider coming to the tri-state this summer. I think it's Joro. Could be Yoro. Joro spiders are expected to start showing up in New Jersey and New York this summer, spreading up from the southeastern United States, where they have been proliferating, which we all know what that means. Jay may not, but if he doesn't, he should just, think about some things. But anyway, the yellow arachnids are native to East Asia, but the creepy crawlers have been around in Georgia for about a decade. A recent peer-reviewed study conducted by David Cole, a scientist and assistant professor in the Department of Forestry and Environmental Conservation at Clemson University, found that the species is here to stay in the United States as it spreads rapidly around the country. The data from the study shows that the spider is going to be able to inhabit most of the eastern United States. It shows that their comfort area and their native range matches up very well with much of North America.
How do you find out when a spider is comfortable?
I guess you just ask it. Little Miss Tuffet sat on a tuffet, eating her carrots away, right?
Tough it out a little bit, I don't know. Is it just like, no, this is perfect conditions for us over here on the eastern border of the United States?
And that's the accent that I expected these Yoro or Juro spiders to have. Adding to the nightmares, these spiders are light enough to travel through the air, making it easier for them to spread. But there is good news. Even though their size tends to freak people out, these are like those big banana spiders.
Yeah, those
the species are relatively harmless to humans and pets. What does relatively mean?
It was relative.
Yeah, that's true. They're all friends. They're all family.
Pain tolerance.
Yeah, that's right. These spiders eat mosquitoes, yellow jackets, stink bugs, and even spotted lanternflies. Juro spiders have a body about 4 inches long and legs that span 6 to 8 inches around the size of a human hand. The females are brightly colored, whereas the males are brown.
I felt like that author had something else that he could have compared.
Yeah, probably, but parachuting, just flying through the air.
Yeah, air travelers.
That's it. I mean, it looks very similar to a banana spider, no doubt about it. But a big... And a lot of people are just terrified by spiders, so there's a reason why there's arachnophobia.
Dude, I had a big old wolf spider in the house one time, bro.
Now, wolf spiders aren't good for you, right? Their bite's not good.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't get bit by it.
That's good. That's solid.
What was it, man? I killed it like while it was on the wall. I threw something. That's how big it was.
Jeez.
I'll show you a picture of it, because even like, when you kill a spider and they shrivel up, even that, it was like that big. So, I mean, the thing was way bigger than my hand. It was like one of those where you look up on the wall and you're like, how did you even get into the house?
I didn't see you walk in with your giant legs and body. But, they don't pose a threat to people. It is possible to be allergic to a wolf spider's venom, but they are not poisonous. Since wolf spiders are large, their bite may be painful. If you have mild pain, swelling, itchiness around the bite, it shouldn't last long.
There you go. It should last long.
Just it'll hurt.
Another relative term there.
Yes.
What is long?
Yeah. What is it? 5 minutes or 3 hours? Everybody's perspective is different. But watch out for them flying spiders.
It's not like they didn't even call them flying spiders, right? They're just light enough to be able to travel through the air.
Yes, and the title there of the article was parachuting.
Parachuting spiders.
Yeah, so they shoot out their web into a I don't think that's
really cool, though, how awesome spiders are. I mean, every single one of God's creations is just like, what, man? Like, the fact that, we breathe and help the trees breathe and help us, essentially, The
spiders eat the stuff that could hurt us.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some bad spiders, no doubt about it, but luckily not too many here in the United States now.
Right, but there's no way that they provide nothing to the ecosystem.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, mosquitoes, I don't know what they provide to the ecosystem, but they're just awful regardless.
They're more of a population control.
There you go. Zika virus. Survival of the... See, now that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, I got one more. Actually, I got two more. I'll dive into this one first. Sports related, but not. This is from Barstool Sports. The title of the article has a curse word in it, so I'm just going to say, holy you know what? American Gladiators is being rebooted on Amazon Prime. This is from yesterday afternoon. Finally, Jeff Bezos is using his billions of dollars to make the world a better place. Well, I guess being able to get pretty much anything on the planet in 2 days is pretty sweet. And Bezos' actual life seems pretty decent, considering every time I see a picture of him, he's on a yacht the size of a football field with his lovely fiance. I don't know. But anyway, nonetheless, I've been waiting for American Gladiators to come back since they brought it back in 2008 with Hulk Hogan, and it sucked. It was technically, well, that wasn't kind of suck. It was, but the GIF pretty much tells the story like countless other reboots of other things. And there's Do
you remember the reboot?
No.
I don't remember the reboot. And that seems
I think it was
wild that I wouldn't remember something like that in 2008 because Hulk Hogan was still kind of big then. So, yeah, fail.
And here's some things from the, okay. So, however, it doesn't mean that it has to suck this time. Far from it. I feel like being on a streaming service owned by a bazillion-dollar company allows them to do things you can't get away with on network TV or cable. This is why I put together a list of my top 5 things that the American Gladiators have to do to make sure it's awesome like the original American Gladiators in the 90s and does not stink like the 2008 American Gladiators. 1, again, this is opinion. Steroids are not only allowed, but are mandatory.
I love it.
It's a pretty
an Olympics like that. I think there actually is an Olympics
a
being
steroid
built
Olympics.
up. That's like PED, the Padimpics.
Yeah, there you go. Let the gladiators be themselves. Start with a behind-the-scenes reality show with the gladiators right off the jump.
I don't know if I care that much about the backstory of them.
Yeah, that's true. You just want them to eat some steroids. And
that's where the documentary afterwards is like, because if you start falling in love with the characters or whatever, then it's like, oh, I want to learn more about them. But then if you learn so much, it's kind of like if in the dating world, if before you ever actually meet each other in real life and you've exchanged all these text messages, and what's the fun of like what do you talk about then when you finally meet the person, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. This number 4 on the list: bring back all the best games. Assault, Atmosphere, Joust, Powerball, and of course the Eliminator are must-haves. I was never a fan of the Human Cannonball, but based on the way American Gladiators talked about it, that sounded like a gnarly event that would really, everybody's body. So maybe we can bring that back too. I'm not against stealing some events from the challenge back when it was good. Yes, I'm talking about the Hall Brawl. Number 5, keep the theme and turn it up. They said something else there, Jay. Hey, Jay, how are you today? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Once your mic is on, now you can say it.
Hello, good afternoon.
How's your camp?
It was great, man. Day one's already over with. It happened quickly, and it was hot.
There you go. Now,
you look kind of like you've just been in the AC, brother.
I've been, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Take a little breather. I think this camp ended at 11:30.
Well, you had to debrief and break down.
Drink some water.
Make sure there wasn't any, broken T's on the range and all that good stuff,
Yeah, you can get in trouble.
Yep,
you get in trouble. I see you wore baby blue again today.
I did.
Of all the shirts you could wear on an 86-degree, 90% humidity day, that shirt probably wasn't the best.
Really?
It wicks moisture, but that I don't even know what you call that because there's like piqué, there's jersey, there's all sorts of ones. That one's kind of like the shinier, like fabric.
Yeah.
Maybe doesn't breathe as I don't know. It's just
still feels pretty light.
Oh yeah,
you gave me one like that. So
the exact shirt.
It's covering this dad bod up. That's all.
There you go.
Are you very white underneath?
Oh man, if you only knew.
It's like wearing a t-shirt. Without a t-shirt on?
Yeah.
And your feet.
That's something golf courses, man. If they would just let people take their shirts off,
you'd sell more sunblock.
Well, you'd sell more sunblock, and then you'd have more people golfing because they'd be like, look, I can go kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
That's right.
You might be onto something, D. Hayes.
Right.
Shirtless
I don't know
golf.
if it'll work out at Bay Point, but like Nature Walk, you can get away with it
or just,
there.
start a new golf course with that.
Yeah.
That go both ways.
Nude golf.
Yay! I'm sure it's a thing.
Well, it's like this morning we were
put sunblock in certain areas though.
Right.
Those never usually see the light of day.
The kids wouldn't pick their feet up on the putting green, so I was like, "Hey, take your shoes off." Like, there you go. I mean, that solves that.
Oh yeah,
so,
they're just dragging. Yeah,
out there like Jim McMahon.
Yep. Right. Yeah. Note to self: don't drag your feet on a not to self, but PSA.
Yeah.
Don't drag your feet on a putting green.
That was
especially if you got spikes on.
That's right. That's right.
All right, I got one more. The American Gladiators one. They're running it back.
Okay,
They're doing
good.
Another one.
Awesome.
Amazon Prime's looking to pick it up. But anyway, Beth sent me this one just a little while ago earlier on the show. It's from WAFF 48.
Wow.
That's Huntsville, Alabama, or excuse me, up there in North Alabama.
Hopefully we don't waff too hard at this.
Yeah, it's not funny.
Come on, Beth.
Well, I'll let you be the judge of it.
All right.
The title of the article: Woman
Guilty
found still alive at funeral home dies hours later.
Oh, this could be funny.
So again, this is from WAFF, but Lincoln, Nebraska, from earlier today, actually, the Lancaster Sheriff's Office said a woman who had been pronounced dead and later came back to life in a Lincoln funeral home has died. Constance Glantz, 74, was pronounced dead for the second time at 4 p.m. Monday, according to Chief Deputy Ben Hochin. Lancaster County Attorney Pat Cundon ordered the autopsy that will be formed 10 a.m. Tuesday. The Sheriff's Office will give an update once the final autopsy report is completed. The investigation is ongoing. Lancaster County Sheriff's Office is investigating after she had been pronounced dead, but was discovered to still be alive in the funeral home. Earlier, around 9:45 a.m. Monday, Glantz had been pronounced dead by staff at the Mulberry Nursing Home in Waverly. She had been in hospice, and the nursing staff expected her to pass away, according to Hodgson. The funeral home staff took her body to the facility. Lincoln Fire and Rescue responded to the funeral home at 11:43 a.m. on Monday after a caller said CPR was in progress for the woman. While preparing her body for funeral arrangements, a funeral home staff member noticed she was still breathing and called 911. Emergency officials took Glantz to the hospital, where she died hours later. Hochin said officials at the Bethuris, Macer, and Love Funeral Home, don't go to that one, have been cooperating with law enforcement in the investigation. I also want to state in our investigation that the funeral home did nothing wrong. Sure, just like Shohei's interpreter. They also found the ones that they are the ones that found she was still alive, Hochin said. That's the end of the story.
Wow. So EMS shows up and they're like, all right, what are we looking at here? She's in the casket.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Man.
That's nuts.
I mean, and you hear about stuff like that sometimes,
Right.
you know, and that's
Our
why.
preliminary autopsy was that she was dead, and the post-autopsy, she was actually breathing.
Yeah, she was still kicking while you were trying to put her in the... Oof.
Oh, boy.
It's a little morbid, but, you know.
That's a good descriptor there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's how we're going to start off the show with you back, Jay.
Oh, great.
You going to get buried, or are you going to get, what is it called?
Ashed.
I was going to say
Cremated.
I was going to say incinerated, but that wasn't the right word.
Yeah, boy. Put me in the incinerator. Spread me around.
Buried.
this earth.
Buried? What happens if you wake up in that coffin?
I don't know. Oof. All right, cremated.
Either way, if you get embalmed, like, there ain't no way that you're still alive after that, right?
Well, yeah, if you do get embalmed, but, you know.
Can they throw you down there without embalming?
I think so.
Oh, then you save a lot of money on your insurance.
There you go. There you go. Well,
I don't really care. I like when it comes to those two, embalming or cremating, like, I don't got no kids right now, so whenever we get to that point, I guess I'll ask them, like, hey, you know, how would y'all rather visit me? You want a headstone, or you want to just go out to the ocean? Because I don't give a daggum.
Yeah, or put you on the mantle in the fireplace.
Yes, that's fine too.
I mean, hey,
put me in your food. Eat me.
Hey, what movie is that with
Meet the Parents?
No.
Meet
That's
the Fockers?
No. Due Date with Zach Galifianakis and I forget the other guy's name. But anyway, he's carrying around his dad's ashes in a coffee urn, and then they're at the house. It's such a good movie. But anyway, they make coffee with it. Oh, man. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but you got to see it. Due Date. It is hilarious.
Does that have something to do with somebody being pregnant?
Yes. I forget the actor's name. I'm drawing a huge blank. It's a very famous actor. And then you also had Jamie Foxx, who is in the movie as well. But yeah, his wife was pregnant. He got on the no-fly list because of some actions with Zach Galifianakis meeting him. And so they're
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. And they're driving all the way back to try to get back in time for his wife to have their first baby.
Okay.
I got to rewatch this now because it's got Danny McBride in it, and Danny McBride is gold in everything he does.
It's so funny.
I'd check that one out.
But that made me think of it with the urn and the coffee grinds and all that. But yeah, I mean, back in what's that, St. Augustine, when you go on the ghost tours and all that stuff, they talk about why they had bells with a string going down into the coffin, because if you woke up, you know, that string was there, like attached to your hand or something like that. So you'd wake up and you move and it would ring the bell. Oh, and then they'd get you out of there.
Yikes.
Yeah. I think that's pre-embalmed. And I don't know if you have an option not to be embalmed or not, but that's all, many, many, hundreds of years ago. And that's why there's so many, ghosts there in St. Augustine.
That was a great Lifetime movie I watched.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Lifetime again.
For this.
Buried Alive. It was where like the lady decided to like kill her husband or whatever, and she buries him alive. She thought he was dead. Nope, he was still alive. Got out of the the casket and basically like messed with her.
How did he get out?
I can't remember. It's been years ago. Yeah, I don't know, but he got out. I mean,
that's why
he had a lighter in his pocket too, so he was able to kind of see inside the casket.
I need more information.
Yeah, buried alive.
Start smoking, ladies and gentlemen. If you ever feel like your life is in danger, start smoking so you have a lighter so that you just won't be in danger.
Yeah,
that's right.
It may put you there, but
like the chick from yesterday, I'm still thinking about her.
Charlie Hull.
Smoking them heaters, baby.
That's right.
Brother.
She's just trying to quit vaping, that's all. You can't hate on her for trying to get rid of stop vaping.
That's right.
We shouldn't hate on anyone. That's the craziest thing, bro. And I get it because of the smell that emits from the cigarette, but people like with their little like looks over, I can't believe we're doing that. Like, hey, why don't you want one, brother?
Yeah, no
Sister?
kidding. Yeah,
whatever it is.
Sister, that's good stuff.
No,
that's good stuff. But yeah, moral of the story: if you're buried alive, could be dicey.
Yeah,
could be dicey. That's terrifying.
That is
just
terrifying.
Just throw me in the thing, and if I happen to wake up for a second, it ain't gonna last long.
Bury me in Florida.
Let the gators get me.
Oh, that would be a good way. Feed me to a killer well.
There it is. David Hayes will write up a will after the show.
I love it, man. Execute that
Free
will.
Willy.
Yeah.
Free
Willy.
Hazy.
Free Hazy.
Davy Crockett swimming with the ocean or swimming with the whales.
And we'll
in the whales.
We'll make a trip up to Alaska, and we'll find one, and we'll toss you out there and hope for the best.
Baby Jonah, baby.
There you go. And that is the end of the Afternoon Delight Debrief segment. We got 2 segments here with Jay Henley, and we'll be back talking a little bit about the regionals and all the teams that have advanced out to the Super Regionals, preview those a little bit, and talk about the Softball World Series, which we still don't have the second final team in there, as those Florida Gators are taking it and make it a little tougher on Oklahoma. You're listening to the Inside Drive. Jay Henley is back. We will be right back.
America's team plays here.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out. That's number 10.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida. Charlie Morton, Max Fried, and Chris Sale lead the Braves' dominant pitching rotation.
That's 18 up, 18 down.
Sponsored by Panama City Toyota, LS Agency Insurance, Bestway Portable Buildings, PCB Hobby, and ESPN Northwest Florida.
Got him swinging, strike 3.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Tuesday's weather forecast. A possibility of thunderstorms and sunshine the remainder of the day with temps near 84 and a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Mostly clear skies tonight and a temperature of 77. The same tomorrow around 84 with mostly sunshine throughout the day with a likelihood of thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumberyard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
That boot store has the perfect Father's Day gift for that special dad. Select from one of the largest collections of Western wear and Carhartt work clothes in the Panhandle. That boot store has been in business for 60 years and feels they've just begun. Shop that boot store this Father's Day and every day. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5. Friday and Saturday, 9 till 5:30. Next to Bill Burr Kia, 15th Street, Panama City. That boot store where God is good all the time.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed, smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. At a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. And a long business meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal.
Next in line.
You hear it first. Sports talk right now. Back to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
I know it seems a bit overwhelming at first.
Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
Something makes me think you'll get used to it.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
10 miles out of Chattanooga. You got your paping? South of that. Hey, and welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there with your paper, but I just want to make sure you had it because it's time. And unfortunately, I did not do so well in this, but, you know, what's to be expected. We're going to talk about the NCAA Division I Baseball Championship. The regionals came to an end last night as we had a few more games that needed to get finished up as the elimination bracket side came in and had to beat the winners twice, and several of them beat them once, and several of them actually beat them twice as well. But, Jay, I know we talked about it quite a bit yesterday, but little stats from this. The number 1 seed won 10 out of the 16 regionals. The number 2 seed won 0 out of the 16 regionals. We did have one number 4 seed, and that was Evansville University out there, big mid-major. But that's the beauty about college baseball, is you always have an opportunity. And then there was 5 3 seeds that ended up moving on as well, which I thought was pretty special, including those Florida Gators, who won 2 games to get back into that one. And we had talked about the Florida Gators. They were 28 and 27, kind of a bubble team, you know, kind of people were writing them off. Well, here they are moving on to the super regional as well. But Jay, so a couple more got finished up. I know I can't remember exactly which ones because my paper here, but I know UNC ended up beating LSU in 10 innings last night. Did you have? I know you had UNC in that one.
I did.
I had LSU.
You had LSU in that one.
Tommy Tanks came up in the bottom of the 10th, man. Had the opportunity, but North Carolina was able to shut him down there. Had a runner on second base as well with an opportunity, but great 9th and 10th innings there for North Carolina last night to move on.
Yep, absolutely. See, do you know how? Can you pay attention? You've been off the last hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, you were running around with kids and all that stuff, but no. So obviously Tennessee came out of that one. You got the Tennessee right. I got the Tennessee right. David got the Tennessee right. That's one. And then Evansville came out of the next one. I know none of us got that right. And if you did, then I'm surprised. UConn, you did get UConn, right?
I did get
You
UConn.
picked several 3 seeds, and there was 5 seeds in that one. So that's just circle them and then add them up. I've only got 4 total right. Florida State came out of that regional. I did get that one correctly. Kansas State, another 3 seed, came out of the Arkansas regional. I know you picked Arkansas because of the face eating stuff going on there.
Yeah.
David Hayes, you had Arkansas in that one as well. Okay, so none of us got that one right. And then the next one was Virginia. Did you have Virginia? Anybody
I had Cavaliers.
You did. You had Cavaliers. All right. So you
I
did.
had Virginia as well.
Dang. So you guys were looking pretty good early on. And then West Virginia came out of the Tucson regional. Anybody have West Virginia? Nope. Nobody in that one didn't think so. And then North Carolina came out of the last one. You had that one too?
I had North Carolina.
So how many did you get on the left side of the bracket?
4.
Man.
Out of how many? 1, 2,
8.
8.
Yeah. 4 out of 8. 50%. That's not bad. I only had 2. David, how many did you have in that one?
2 on that side.
2 on that side. Man, I always criticize you, but you know, you took some gambles and they paid off.
They did.
50% is
I'm
pretty
telling
dang good when you have 4 teams in each regional. All right, let's switch over to the right side of the bracket. Kentucky came out of the first one. I picked Indiana State. Who'd you have in that one, Jay?
I had Illinois.
David Hayes, you had Kentucky in that one, didn't you? I thought you did. You did. There's got one there. And then
man, did y'all see any of the footage? I don't know which game it was from in that regional, but there was little kids behind the plate and they would like hide behind the wall and then they would pop up when the pitcher was getting ready to pitch. That was awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Just having fun, being a part of the game. You know, that's what makes baseball so special is, you know, anybody can enjoy it and do it. Oregon State came out of the Corvallis Regional. I did get that one. I know you had the Beavers as well, right, Jay?
I had the Beavs.
And David Hayes?
I had the Beavers.
There you go. David Hayes, 2 for 2 on the right side so far. And then NC State, another number 1 seed, came out of the Raleigh Regional. Did not have that one. Jay?
I had Bryant.
Yeah, I know. That was a great pick.
I had JMU.
So none of us got that one. And then next one, the Athens Regional. I know I had Georgia. You had Georgia. David, you had Georgia as well.
Yes, sir.
There you go. That was I only had 4 totals. So that was my last one there. And then the Clemson Regional, I did take Coastal. I was hoping that Gary Gilmore last season would push us over the edge, but Clemson did advance out of that regional. Jade, who'd you have?
The Commodores.
Yeah, that's right. They got eliminated right off the get-go.
I had them Tigers.
That's right. Clemson Tigers. David David Hayes got, what, 4 so far on that
Yeah,
side?
they're pretty good on this side.
Jeez.
There you go. There you go. He's backfiring again like it always does. All right, next you had Florida advance out of the Stillwater Regional. Jack Caglione making some stuff happen. They had to beat Oklahoma State twice, if I'm remembering off the top of my head, and now they advance to play Clemson in the Super Regional. Who'd you guys have in that one? I had OK State.
I had Okie State as well.
Okay, so I had the big lizards of UF.
You had Florida?
Yeah.
The Lizards, huh?
Yeah.
Did they change their mascot?
Is it a lizard? Are gators like a lizard?
I mean,
he's back. The Florida Gators?
I think a lizard would be a lizard.
Yeah.
They look like a lizard?
Yeah.
They look like an alligator?
Huh?
It's an alligator?
Yeah, but I mean, just a big old lizard.
Dino lizard.
Yeah, there you go. That's right.
I'm not sure where to go after this.
But yes, I did go with Florida Gators.
Damn.
How about that?
All right. Well, we'll call them the Florida Lizards from now on. All right. And then the UC Santa Barbara Regional. I know I did take UCSB. I believe you took UCSB as well, the Gauchos. David Hayes, who'd you get out of this one? I know Oregon advanced on.
I had Fresno
Oh,
State.
the Bulldogs. Hey, you got to take a 4 seed every once in a while.
No alligators or reptiles in the crocodilia order, while lizards are reptiles in a different order.
A completely different order. Kingdom, Phylate, order, all that stuff.
Alligators are more closely related to birds than they are lizards, so we can call them the Florida birds. And they taste like underwater chickens.
That's
so.
true.
Underwater.
Don't eat them underwater, though. You can eat them on land. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I didn't know we were going to have to define that on the air today, that alligators were, in fact, not lizards. Both in the reptile.
The word alligator comes from the Spanish word el lagarto, which means the lizard.
Of course it does. Of course it does. That does not justify you calling gators lizards.
El lagarto.
But it's somehow there's a correlation. Gosh, you just you just never know. You just never know.
I know.
Glad you're back. Glad we didn't start the show this way today. I would have been in all sorts.
Yeah.
And then the final regional, they're over there at College Station. Texas A&M, the number 1 seed, did advance out of that regional. I took Texas. They did not. Who did you take? You took the Longhorns as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
What about you?
I had the Maggies, baby.
No,
the
it's right.
agriculturals and mathematicals.
So how many? I had 4 total. This was our pick'em from last week, so I got to go ahead and add these into our thing. I had 4, bringing me to 204. You had what?
I want to hear Jay's total first.
I think you had 8.
I got 7.
7. That's
7.
not
We
bad.
tied.
Wow.
We tied.
7 out of 16. That is not bad at all. Jay, bringing your total up to 175. David Hayes now goes up to 225, and I'm hanging in there at 204.
Hey, you only need 50 more, Jay.
It's a nice round even difference,
It is.
though.
I can stop picking for 10 weeks.
Yeah. Just keep rubbing it in.
No.
Shoot, football season will be here in like 2 months.
But
so.
we restart, right?
And I got a
Restart
chance.
Football season.
Yeah, we restart, and then David Hayes is the official first winner, and then maybe we'll I'm not gonna stop. It's gonna be a yearly thing.
Yeah, we're keeping the numbers in, right? Or you said you're
we?
Yeah.
We are keeping the numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or,
I'm keeping the numbers.
I'm sorry. Yeah. There's no mice in my pocket.
But there's a lizard over there at Bay Point somewhere.
I was throwing golf balls at him yesterday. That lizard ate my golf ball.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Big old lizard.
Interesting. So, with that being said, as we went through that, you've got all the regionals start this Friday and run through Sunday, maybe Monday if you have that extra game. I think it would just be 3 games.
Yeah, best of
It's
3.
Yeah,
Best
I
of
don't know
3
why
when
I
you get
said
to
that.
the Supers, yeah.
So the first one, you've got Tennessee and Evansville, University of Evansville, which I believe is Indiana, if I'm not mistaken, a great mid-major team there. Coming out of the East Carolina Wake Forest, VCU, number 4 seed, the only number 4 seed to advance, and their gift, playing the number 1 team in the country right now.
Which had a player hit the transfer portal right ahead of the Super Regionals.
Yeah, that's college baseball or college sports in general now. And then you'll have Florida State taking on UConn. UConn was the 3 seed advancing out of the Norman Regional. Florida State took care of business.
And they whooped Oklahoma last night.
Oh,
Whooped
yeah.
them. It was like 7-1, and I was like, all right, I'm done with this.
Yep. Are you talking about
baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah, UConn beating Oklahoma last night.
Oh yeah, that was a little surprising. That was a little surprising. But Florida State, UConn in a super regional, and then you had another number 3 seed Kansas State will be taking on the Virginia Cavaliers in that super regional. Jay's UNC Tar Heels will take on the West Virginia Mountaineers in that super regional, and then moving over to the right side of the bracket, the Kentucky Wildcats will be fighting those Oregon State Beavers to advance to another chance. Oregon State, they've won several national championships in the last 20 years. Great baseball program up there in Corvallis, so that'll be probably a great regional as well. And then a little ACC-SEC matchup. Your Georgia Bulldogs will be taking on the NC State Wolfpack for a shot to move on to the College World Series. And then a little Florida-Clemson action. Everybody was counting out Florida early on. Again, everybody said they were a bubble team, and they got in, and guess what? They advanced out of their regional to move on with a shot to take down the Clemson Tigers to advance to another College World Series. And then last but not least, the final regional, you got Texas A&M and the Oregon Ducks. How about that? Both teams from the state of Oregon moving on to the super regionals there in college baseball.
Representing that defunct Pac-12.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's Oregon's going to Big Ten, Big Ten in the Pac-12. Because the Pac-12 still exists, right? Just Oregon State and Washington State.
Yeah, Oregon
technically,
State, Washington State, and the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah,
at least in football.
Yeah, at least in football. We'll figure that out. All right, over there on the softball side, Jay Henley. Still not done yet. We still don't have 2 teams in the final series.
It's basically what? Texas versus the winner of Florida and Oklahoma today, right?
Absolutely. Texas cruised through the winner's bracket there, winning all 3 of their games, moving on to the College World Series. They beat Stanford 4-0. Then they beat Florida 10-0. And then they beat Stanford 1-0 to move on to the championship series. They await the winner as of last night. Florida came out of that loser's bracket after they lost that game. Then they beat Alabama 6-4. They took on Oklahoma last night. A lot of people saying Oklahoma and Texas are bound to be playing each other in the national championship. But Florida said, hold on, we're going to play one more game, and it starts right here at the end of our show here on the Inside Drive. 1 p.m. coverage starts on ESPN. Winner of that game will move on to play Texas in the national championship. But Florida took care of business yesterday, 9-3 over the Oklahoma Sooners. Jay, who do you think wins tonight? Does Florida continue that magic, being that 4 seed on this side of the bracket, and beat Oklahoma and surprise everybody but, SEC teams?
I just want to see that Texas-Oklahoma matchup. I don't know why.
It's kind of redundant at this point.
Yeah.
You don't want
all 3 of those games?
You don't want any lizards in there?
No lizards.
No lizards? No lizards?
No.
Who would win out of a big old lizard and a longhorn?
Ooh.
If it's a monitor lizard.
There's matchups like that.
It's a lizard that lives in South Florida most of the time, or across Florida.
Yeah.
Those are matchups you can see on YouTube, like, like a gator versus a bison, or a gator versus man, the gator wins all the time though, it seems like.
If you're near water. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they go straight for the legs, just chop
like
blocking.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Sweep the leg with the tail.
Yeah.
And then you just get it locked up and you roll it into the water.
All right, now that we're saying that, I'm going to go Florida over Oklahoma.
You were starting to think about it?
Yeah.
But see, the longhorn, that would be if they get to the final. So who wins in a Sooner versus a...
Explain to me a Sooner.
A Sooner is something that happens sooner than later.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know much about what a Sooner is.
Sooners are...
It's just like a settler. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gators, so human beings. So, Gators win.
A human being, yes.
Gators win over human beings.
I mean, it may be borderline cowboy kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're about to find out what a Sooner is officially. But, I mean, that's why they have the covered wagon and all that. It's like the Oregon Trail.
Instead of me reading all of this, we'll just go with what exactly Ryan said, early settler.
Yeah.
But still a human being.
A human being nonetheless.
Yeah.
But, hey, that human being may be able to run...
Good.
The zigzag pattern that you're a lizard creature down there, a.k.a. an alligator.
Human beings are the apex predator.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's why we're still here.
That's right. We're going Gators all the way.
All the way?
Yep.
You're taking the Gators they're going to beat Texas?
They're going to beat...
I think it's Texas's national championship to lose, for sure. Yeah. In my opinion, on the softball side of things. But that's why they play the game. It's a best out of 3. And man, watching, you haven't, I know for a fact.
No,
you did. You said you watched a little bit of one game, maybe.
Maybe last year.
Maybe.
Seriously.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But yes.
That's a way to get away with it, my friend.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to say Texas gets it done. What do you think?
I'm going Florida.
Florida?
Yeah.
All right. What about you, D. Hayes?
I want to see Texas get it done, but are we counting this for points
No.
here?
No, this is just pure, we're picking.
I think Oklahoma is going to be the first team to ever have the 4-peat.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be nuts. Mm-hmm. But hey, those lizards may stop them here in about 2 hours.
Hey, you know what? Honestly, I'll be rooting for Florida to take them down.
There you go.
For sure. I think, man, you beat them yesterday. It's going to be real hard to beat that team 2 days in a row.
Just at least it wasn't a double header and they had a day in between.
Yeah.
Because that's even harder.
No, they played yesterday. Like they had some time.
Versus, playing at 11 o'clock and then happen to play again at, in the evening hours.
But those women seem to be a little bit more chatty, it seems like, right? Whenever you're watching them, they're like, swing better, swing better.
Of softball. Yeah, they are a little bit more chatty and got the, like cheers for every little thing or whatever. It's a fun environment, man, and it gets the crowd into it as well. Seriously, the sport of college softball, like I know everyone's all on WNBA and everything and women's college basketball, hey, and that's great. But for me, as a guy who's like loved baseball my whole life and grew up with softball players and whatnot, that the sport of softball is really good.
Yep.
It's intense.
And somebody we know, her niece, Skylar Wallace, is the shortstop for Florida.
Oh, there we go. That would be cool to get her on.
She had I'm going to work on that. And once they finish, of course. Yeah. But yeah, she had a big home run a couple games ago, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But it is that time, Jay. We've got to make some stuff happen, and we learned yesterday that I need to be talking about it while the sound is in the background. Look, we're all learning together. But it is time for the Atlanta Braves 7-year send-off from ESPN Northwest Florida. We've been your destination for the Atlanta Braves for almost 7 years, coming up on June 17th. So we are going to take caller number 10. Give us a call, 850-215-6290. Caller number 10 will automatically get a sweet qualifying prize. Today, it is a Pepsi bag with t-shirt and another Swampy Jack $10 gift card. If you've never been to Swampy Jack's, you're missing out. It's a great place. You'll also be qualified to win the grand prize. That is a trip to go see the Toronto Blue Jays and the Braves play on September 7th. It includes hotels, spending cash, food and beverage at the game, and amazing seats at the Xfinity Club. We appreciate PCB Hobby, Fairfield, Hampton Inn, and the Thomas Drive, and Home to Suites. We'll be right back with the 10th caller.
America's team plays here.
And a rocket to right field. This thing is into orbit.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida. Acuna, Ozzie, and Austin Riley lead the Braves' high-powered offense.
Swung on, belted, deep right field. Get out of here, Ozzie. Home run. Ball game.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida is sponsored by Brock's Pest Control. Store more portable buildings, reliable hydraulic solutions. Bill Bird Kia and Mid-South Lumber.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
At Brock Lawn and Pest Control, we're proud to be awarded the distinction of being Quality Pro certified.
Our technicians have passed rigorous training in eco-friendly application and prevention of pest treatments.
Part of the program is the practice of integrated pest management.
IPM's goal is to prevent pests from ever entering your home. It includes inspection, prevention, education, and, when necessary, application.
We're proud to be Quality Pro certified.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, the standard and level of trust.
Are you hungry for authentic Mexican cuisine? Then come to El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, where we serve up the freshest, most flavorful dishes on the beach. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, a great location, comfortable atmosphere, and happy hour from 3 to 7. Buy one, get one free, regular margaritas and 12-ounce house drafts. And you're going to love their lunch specials, Monday through Friday from 11 to 3. Plus, live music Wednesdays and Saturdays starting at 5:30. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, Thomas Drive, across from the Navy base.
The battle for a 7th straight division crown is on, and the Braves are on a charge to bring it home to Atlanta.
Swung on a fly ball, deep left center field. That is down for a base hit. Michael Harris taking no prisoners. Braves
Braves hit the road for a 2-game set in Boston as Ronald Acuna and company take on the Red Sox at Fenway.
Coverage starts at 6 right after the afternoon underdogs. Your home for the Braves, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Do you suffer from political talk radio fatigue?
We know that over the 49% rate of the U.S. economy is
Tune into the most fun and exciting new radio show on the Gulf Coast. It's The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. From the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We got our 10th caller on the line. Congratulations. You're going to go home with a Pepsi bag t-shirt and a Swampy Jack $10 gift card. And it is our good friend, Coach Olds, on the line. Coach, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. I'm excited. Get a chance to go see the Braves and Truist. Just a chance. So I am. I'm stoked.
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing is you can keep calling as many times as you want to get entered. Now, if I remember correctly, you were just on a trip and then you experienced a new baseball stadium. Where were you at recently?
Miami Marlins. It was a very beautiful indoor stadium. I took the boys to Tampa last week. They had some teacher tickets, so I was able to take me and one person for free. I just had to pay for 3. And then me and my wife went to Miami because I wanted to see a new stadium. And that was a very beautiful stadium inside there. But Truist Park is one of the best places. I've been to the old field, but I haven't heard nothing but great things about Truist Park. So I am super excited about the opportunity.
Have you been to Truist Park before?
I have not been in Truist yet.
Man, that's man. Yeah, keep calling, keep entering. We got to get you up there. It's just a beautiful place. I've only been one time. Went almost about a year ago, but it's just they did such a good job creating a city around Truist Park to just you don't even have to go anywhere else. You can spend your entire time there. But obviously a legend here in Bay County, Coach Olds. We appreciate everything you do, all the sports you've coached, all the refereeing you do on your time off, and without you, I don't think Bay County sports would be where we are today. That's for sure.
Thank you so much. I'm excited getting ready to gear for flag football soon. Me and my older 2 boys getting ready to start refereeing real soon.
There you go. Well, we'll be out there this summer, me and D. Hayes with Dynasty Flag Football like we always are. Anything else you want to say to everybody out there in Radio Land?
Go Braves. I'm excited.
There you go. There you go. We appreciate you being a listener here of all the shows here on ESPN Northwest Florida. And again, we appreciate everything you've done here for Bay County Athletics. No doubt about it. Keep calling. Keep getting your name in there. And again, you can enter as many times as you want between now and June 14th.
All right. I will. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll see you soon out there, Coach. Have a great rest of your day. Jay, I got a fun one for you.
Yeah?
This could have been an afternoon delight debrief, but not really. Back-to-back holes in one, right? Mm-hmm. That's tough in different parts. Just a hole in one in general is tough, right?
Yeah.
You've had a couple, both 2. Both at Bay Point?
Yes. Yeah, they have. I know. It's crazy.
It's your spot to get home. Yeah. I know you had one fairly recently within the last couple of years during a tournament. And you've seen a few stories about, because par 3s aren't consecutive typically ever. So a back-to-back hole-in-one is typically like you make a hole-in-one on, let's call it, number 10, and then you make it again on number 17 using the back 9 at Bay Point as an example, which is a feat that's like the odds of that are ridiculous. But Golf Digest reported a story that I saw pop up yesterday. Never been done. Golfer makes back-to-back holes in one, but on par 4s.
That is nuts.
We were in total shock and did not know what to do. This is not only the coolest thing ever to happen to me, it's potentially the only time this has or will ever happen. His name is Jack Wiebe, and he made back-to-back par 4 aces. He's the only golfer on the planet to ever accomplish that. That's pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah. Is there any more statistics with that? How far? I mean, nothing. That's just.
I'm sure there is. This was a quick clip I caught off of Instagram, but obviously drivable par fours. But with how far these guys and kids, I think that name sounds familiar, like he's a college golfer. But I mean, just have a hole in one on a par four is an unbelievable feat, let alone back to back. It's almost like having back to back albatrosses, but you don't see back to back par fives very often. But this is a back-to-back albatross.
Do you think he broke par in his round?
I would sure hope so.
I would hope so.
Because what? That's 6 under par in 2 holes?
Yeah.
That would be. I'll do some more research. I'll get back to us tomorrow with that.
Well, I think I had told that story back about 8 months ago, but my buddy Jeff Harris, who lives in Austin, Texas, was playing in a tournament. He had a hole in one. Then his partner in his member guest tournament, hits another one, but it hung on the lip the whole time until they got to the green, and then it fell in as they were walking into the, to the hole. I mean, the chances of that is just
the
crazy.
Chances of getting a hole in one, I think, are like 1 in 17,000 or something like that. But then to have it happen multiple times, and then to have it happen on a par four is
crazy.
Is pretty nuts. That's for sure.
Well, and how about our boy Tyler Murphy? Having that albatross out at Panama Country Club a couple weeks ago.
Tell everybody about that real quick.
I don't know what hole. I'm so unfamiliar with Panama Country Club, and I
want to say it was a par 5 on the back.
It was like 15,
or maybe even I think 18's apart, something like that. Yeah, something like that.
But he hit driver 5-iron and hit it in, a 2 on a par 5, which I guess is the same as a 1 on a par 4. I mean, it's an albatross.
Yeah, 3 under par.
But the chance that he I texted him a little bit later on and said, obviously, congratulations. And I said, man, that's got to be the odds of that happening versus a hole in one. It was significantly higher with that albatross versus a hole in one. I can't remember the odds. I could look it up. It was crazy.
Yeah, 6 million to 1 to have a hole in one on a par 4 or an albatross, which are the exact same thing.
Right.
And then, of course, back to back, I'm sure it's, if one's 6 million to 1, doing that back to back is probably like $1 billion to 1 or something like that, considering it's never happened before or been documented anyway. So that's that was a fun one, kind of a wild statistic for that coming up. But good stuff.
That is
good stuff. You ever have an albatross?
No.
Me neither.
No.
Never had the old elusive double eagle. Hold out for a lot of eagles, made a lot of eagle putts, but never the double eagle. That's for sure. That is for sure.
It's just the more you play, the luckier you get. I mean,
is that it? It increases your chances, right? If you're not playing, you don't have a chance.
Kind of like the lottery.
Yeah. If you're not playing the lottery, you can't win.
That's right.
Talk about gambling earlier and people getting banned all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what yesterday was?
June 2nd?
No. You're 0 for 1.
June 3rd.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was June 3rd. And that wasn't even my question. But you already got it wrong. Yesterday is what they call the longest day in golf. Do you know why? You should.
Oh, the U.S. Open.
The sectional qualifying. Yeah. Obviously, and it's ironic because we were talking about it yesterday with the Florida the Open coming up here, the qualifier at Bay Point. But the U.S. Open, the way it works, and we've talked about it before, is a lot of people are already pre-qualified for various reasons into the sectional qualifying, but there's also the local qualifying. The local qualifying you have to go to, and that's you got to finish in, usually the top 2 or 3, depending on the size of the field. And then you go to the sectional qualifying where you face a lot of already PGA Tour members and other members of different tours that aren't qualified for the U.S. Open already. And they call that the longest day of golf because it's 36 holes of golf in one day. And just real quick to finish the show up today, there was several qualifying spots all throughout the country. I believe there was 687 players vying for just 44 spots there. So that's less than 10%. And again, you had to finish X to get into that qualifier to begin with already. Many regular PGA Tour players are scattered between the Ontario, Canada qualifier and 2 sites at Ohio, at the Ohio State University Golf Club and Springfield Country Club. And then, of course, we have a few qualifiers down here in Florida as well. But we'll start real quick. The Cherry Hill Golf Club in Ridgeway, Ontario, Canada. You had 66 players for 7 qualifying spots. You may recognize some of these names that qualify. And this is what's crazy, too. It's 36 holes of golf. 15 under par was your lowest score to get in the qualifier. 8 under par was your highest score to get in the qualifier. So you had to shoot 8 under par for 2 rounds just to get it. That's how good these guys are. But Mark Hubbard, you probably know that name.
Yep.
Adam Svensson, you probably know that name. Rico Hoey, I don't know if I've heard of that one. Davis Thompson, Grayson Sigg, Aaron Rye, and Ashton McCullough. He's an amateur. Those are the 7 qualifiers that got in. Of course, you've got alternates as well as somebody who gets sick. But notables who failed to qualify at this particular regional: Stuart Sink, Bud Colley, Charlie Hoffman, Ben Griffin, who just finished second on the PGA Tour, Mark Hubbard, Maverick McNeely, Ches Reavie, Davis Riley, Davis Thompson. There was a couple others as well that probably we don't know about. Next one was Lake Merced Golf Club in Daly City, Ohio. 84 players competing for just 4 qualifying spots. David Puig, you probably know that name, minus 12. Omar Morales, minus 11. He's an amateur. John Chin, and then Charles Reeder, minus 10 got you in, minus 9 got your first alternate. Some notables to not make that one. Preston Summerhays is probably one of the names you know. The Bears Club down in Jupiter, Florida. You got a lot more PGA Tour guys that live in South Florida, so a lot more PGA Tour guys in those particular qualifiers. Matt Kuchar, Daniel Berger, Dean Burmester, Luke Clanton. Do you know why you know that name?
Yeah, I do.
FSU.
Yeah.
Just played in the national championship.
That's right.
He's an amateur. He qualified, and then Willie Mack III also qualified. The last 3 Willie Mack was in a 3-for-1 playoff that got him in. So not only did he have to get there, but then he also had to win in a playoff to either get in or get out. That would be tough with a trip to Pinehurst on the line. Brandon Valdez and Thomas Ponder, both amateurs there that are the alternates. Some notable players who failed to qualify at this particular one: Ryan Armour, Luke Donald, Brendan Grace, Graham McDowell, Joaquin Neiman, Patrick Rogers, Charles Schwartzel, Peter Uline, and Arihan Lahiri. So it just goes to show you, I mean, that's why we always talk about these mini tour guys. All these guys, they're just as good as the guys on tour. They just haven't got that break yet. And you go to see where you guys got like Joaquin Neiman and, Brandon Grace, Luke Donald. These guys have been successful. Charles Schwartzel won the Masters, doesn't even qualify for the U.S. Open. So it's just further proves how difficult golf is. The Golf Club of Georgia, the Lakeside course, you've probably played that one up there in Alpharetta, Georgia. 68 players for 3 qualifying spots. Those 3 players: Jackson Buchanan, an amateur, 13 under par. Pete Fish, he was 13 under par. The reason I mentioned this one: Frederick Kettrup, he was 12 under par. Where did he play? Same place.
Sure. Florida State
University. Just was competing in the national championship. Right. Now he's got himself a trip to the Open next week at Pinehurst in North Carolina. Jason Duffner, Christo Lamprecht, Ollie Schneiderdans, Hudson Swafford, Georgia Boy, and Blades Brown are some notables that did not qualify. The Woodmont Country Club up there in Rockville, Maryland, 64 players for 3 qualifying spots. You had Tim Whiting, Isaiah Salina, and Wells Williams. I don't know any of those guys. Some notables to failed to qualify in that one: Kevin Chappell, Mark Leishon, Sebastian Munoz, and then one of the ones that this was close up to where I used to be, Canubrook Country Club in Summit, New Jersey. 72 players for 4 qualifying spots. This one, Michelle Wee, when she was trying to qualify for the U.S. Open many, many years ago, she tried doing this one. 11 under par, amateur Benjamin James. I mean, it's crazy how many amateurs are qualifying in these sectionals. Again, shows you how good. Max Geiserman, Andrew Sloboda, and Jim Herman, a couple of those guys are PGA Tour players, all qualified. The last gentleman had to be in a 4-person playoff and advanced to survive. There are some notables that did not make that: Chris Goddard, Nicholas Gross, and Michael Thorbjornsen. He was one of the top guys that just declared to be a professional. The Duke University Golf Club, that'll finish us up today. I think there's one more, but it's okay. We got 6 under par got you in. You had Frankie Capon III, Brian Campbell, Sam Bennett, you know that name, Webb Simpson, Chesson Hadley, Carter Jenkins, and Harry Higgs, who just won back-to-back Korn Ferry Tour events, advanced, and some notable players who did not make that one. You had Bill Haas, Cole Hammer, Spencer Levine, Doc Redmond, Miles Russell, and Harold Varner III. But we got one more in there, but we'll talk about that at a later date. Jay, appreciate you jumping in. It was a quick 40 minutes. Good luck again tomorrow with the junior camp. And I don't think we'll see you tomorrow because we're going to be joined by Keith Fleming.
Yeah, and I'll be back Thursday.
You'll be back Thursday. We're just here for you. But Afternoon Underdogs coming up at 4 p.m. Don't forget about your next chance to enter the Atlanta Braves 7-year send-off at 5:40 p.m. We'll be back tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Tune into the Florida Gators-Oklahoma matchup. See who's going to go face Texas in the College World Series. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
JCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles.